Hello and welcome to episode 361 of the Board Game Barrage podcast. My name is Mark. I am known as the Green Tank around here, and I'm joined, as always, by Kellen the Red Tank.
Hello.
And Neelan the Orange Tank.
Hello.
You say around here as if you're not known as Green Tank in your personal life now.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, I guess on BGA, am I the Green Tank there? No, I'm not the Green Tank.
No, I think you're Mark Basada.
Bro,
yeah. No,
what?
on BGA, I'm Mark from BGA.
That's right.
Mark
Mark
from BGB.
Mark from BGB. Yeah.
360 episodes and you're not committed?
You're never even on BGA, so I'm not sure what you're talking about. Anyhow, for as fighty and feisty as we are to open this episode, and as we are in many episodes, today we're going back to a collaboration. We're going back to something we did for the top 50 games of all time this year. It went over pretty well with the listeners. This is going to be a combined top 10 of games from 2016. This is an award season, for those who don't know, in board game land. And one thing that's quite hard, especially a thing with board games, we've touched on this earlier, is that unlike with movies or music, when awards come out on a particular year, those are fairly easily digestible. With board games, there are so many that come out. They take such a commitment of time to actually get through. Sometimes the games are unavailable on the market. And so it seems pretty difficult to actually judge games for a given year on that year because often you haven't had a chance to play them. But with 10 years' time, I think we can look back and have a better idea of what we think are the top 10 games of a year. So we're going back 10 years, 2016, and we're going to pick the BGB top 10 games of the year using the method we used for the top 50 games of all time. We're going to go over that when we get to it. But before we get into that, we're going to be talking about some of the games we played recently. Kellen will be talking about Shady Lady. This is a game, not a person, I think.
Excuse me? Should I go get Christina?
In the Shadows. I will be following that up with In the Shadows, Resistance in France, 1943 to 1944.
I was so on board when you just said In the Shadows.
Yeah,
and then
you're thinking this is going to be a
what
fun...
What was that? Resistance in France, 19... What?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's a lot to it. There's a lot going on there. In the Shadows promises a certain amount of action and allure and sexiness.
We've been waiting In the Shadows for our time.
That is a reference to, I think, a song?
Yes.
Not really
a song I haven't thought of in like 20 years.
What song is that?
It's In the Shadows.
Oh, okay.
I think the song is just called In the Shadows.
I'm going to have to add that one to my Spotify list. And finally, Neelan, who you're hearing right now laughing, is going to be talking about Duel for Cardia. So, Kellen, why don't you tell us about Shady Lady?
Okay, so Shady Lady, I just keep in my mind, I have that song, Ooh, Sexy Lady, in my head, you know? So every time I say Shady Lady, think of that song and me in this context.
In what context is
Excuse me? What? Shady Lady is designed by Kaya Miyano, and I should know this name pronunciation, but I don't. It's Japanese. This is the designer of Nana, more commonly known by plebs as Trio, but a fantastic light card game. And so when I heard there was another game to play from this designer, I said we had to do it, even though the theme, I believe, is about like courting shady ladies at like a bar. So I don't know about the theme, but the art is actually like, the production is insane. It's like this highlighter sort of, the cards feel really great. It's like a really fun production. But how and what do you do in Shady Lady? Well, you are trying to collect a set of 3 cards, and you have very limited things that you can do in the game. You basically are drawing a card and putting it into your hand, or you are stealing a card from someone else's discard pile, or you are playing a set, which is called trying, I believe, or you are jacking, which is like attempting to block someone else who is, well, exactly, with the Shady Lady. Jack. Just, excuse me. And, okay, so the way this all works around trying and jacking, okay, those are the two, those are 2 important things here. When you try...
I think I'm going to be good at this game.
Oh, yeah? You got a lot of practice? Okay, so to try is to, if you have a set in your hand, you lay out that set, and then going clockwise, if anyone else has a bigger set or a better set, they can block you from scoring a point. So they would lay down their set, which trumps your set, And it's sort of like higher numbers are better, multiple, the same set. So like 777 is better than 123. And so when you try, you're like attempting to score a point, and then you're hoping that no one else has a better set than you. But the interesting thing is you only have one action per turn, so you're kind of watching psychologically what other players have picked up, or you're maybe seeing some numbers from them, but you're mostly watching their faces to try to see if you think they have a set or if they're about to try. And then the other thing you can do is you can jack someone, and to jack someone is to point at another player and say, your hand contains a set, right? Because you have to get the card into your hand, and then on a subsequent turn, you can try. So you're waiting, you're anticipating your ability to try, and if someone jacks you, they will steal that point from you. So if I jack Mark, which would never happen in real life, then if Mark has a set, I score a point. And if Mark doesn't have a set, then he scores a point. So there's a little bit of that coup level of like, what do people have? And so everyone is trying to make a set, sort of watching the cards that people are picking up, but more than anything, like trying to like see the vibes of all the shady ladies at the table, and then shouting try or jack. And that's basically the game. You're trying to score 3 points. It is paper light. I kind of liked this. I liked the production enough to buy a copy. So I do have a copy of Shady Lady after playing it. I have not gotten to play it much. I will say that like there are different player counts. I feel like this would be quite player count dependent. I think it does go to 6. My guess is it's probably better at 4. But again, there's not many votes on BGG. This is, not a super well-known title. I don't know if the theme is doing it justice with the shady ladies and the trying and the jacking and whatnot, but it's a light, mysterious, and spicy card game where strategy meets insight. But it is definitely worth playing, and I think we would have a great time, like the 4 of us playing this. Theme aside, there's no theme here, okay? Yeah, like, I don't know. It says Shady Lady, try, and jack on the cover. That's a direct quote. I'm just reading it.
So a couple of questions here. So
yeah.
you mentioned it's like super light.
Yeah.
Is this also something that you could teach to like non-gamers? This is like a party game?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
There's something a little like the trying, the like delaying when you have a set and like trying and jacking that's a little bit unintuitive, I would say. But I think you totally could, for sure.
And so you were talking about like trying to figure out when people have like certain sets. Will you find yourself playing like in a situation where you are taking cards that are like not forming sets because you're worried that other people are sort of onto you?
Yes,
that, like, part of the game?
or that like if you see someone pick up a 9 and then there's another 9 available, you might try to take that so that they don't get the 9. But you may be trying to feign a little bit, but I would say it's more luck of what you get and like playing your hand to either like you might get desperate, you know what I mean?
Right.
And have to start just jacking everyone. You have no other choice.
Right. That's not desperate for me, but that's interesting. That's just Tuesday night. Well, that's cool. That's cool.
It's not nothing, and I think that I'm describing it as if it's nothing because the theme is like I actually don't know that I get the theme because there's like alcohol on the cards, and I still don't get the jack thing. Maybe you're stealing their point, but like it is fun to be like I declare try, and then I declare jack. Yeah. But again, lovely art, interesting production. It's actually Scythe Beppu. I never know how to say his name, but there's almost no art. It's just like this like cool hand drawing. But again, the cards are lovely. The whole production is quite strong. I would encourage you to try it. I would not encourage you to go out and run out and buy it today. And it is not na, right? Because it has such a disgusting, inappropriate theme. And that is Shady Lady. Do you declare try or call jack? The tension never ends. That's their words, not mine.
Yeah, that's evocative.
The tension never ends. Okay?
That's true.
I don't know. Is this a kid's show? Just be real about what the theme is here.
This is a clean podcast.
It's obvious once you think about it.
Right, that's true. Let's talk about a game I got a chance to play. This was In the Shadows with the aforementioned Colin, Resistance in France, 1943 to 1944. This is a review copy provided by the publisher GMT and designed by Daniel Bullock and Joe Schmidt. Recently, I've mentioned that I found myself lately moving away from longer, low interactive multiplayer solitaire-ish Euro style games. I think I'll eventually get back to feeling them at some point. But a type of game that I have been getting into more recently are historic war games, especially ones with a nice solo option. In addition to enjoying diving into the history, like reading stuff or watching videos about whatever the event the game is referencing is, I also like, the idea of I can set up a game whenever I want, not having to worry about organizing schedules, knowing that I can take as much time as I want on a turn or as much time as I want for a full game. And also I'm much more tolerant of a heavier rule set when it comes to a solo war game. Again, that's just me. That said, I know that most people will be likely coming to this game in the Shadows initially for its standard 2-player version. So let's talk about that first before I talk about the solo aspect. So In the Shadows is, again, a 2-player asymmetric card-driven war game. These are also known as CDGs. Tracking the battle between the French resistance and the occupying Nazi forces during World War II, as well as the collaborating French milice, I believe it was called, which was a French group that worked with the occupying Germans. Gameplay is over 9 rounds, driven by an interesting twist on standard CDG mechanics. Most prominently, there's the suit system. We've seen something like this before in another war game, Maria, but how it works is the map of France in this game is split into different regions, each tied to a specific suit. You're going to be playing a card every round, which is going to determine where you're going to be able to play the most efficiently. This is like matching a specific suit on the board. When you spend action points to do things on the board, they are significantly cheaper when you act in the region that matches the suit of your card. So if you play the red suit and you take your actions in the red region, they're going to be significantly cheaper than in the other regions where you have to pay basically like a surcharge in AP points. So that's sort of an interesting aspect that makes you sort of focus on a specific territory. Another interesting aspect is the resolution deck. Instead of rolling dice to see if a sabotage or an arrest action might succeed, the game uses a customized resolution deck. I think Gloomhaven, perhaps, of a game that has something like this, where instead of rolling dice, you're going to be flipping a card, and depending on the different action you select, the card will tell you how that resolves. This also leads to, for those who are interested in probability, there's a chart that will tell you how the deck is sort of broken out and what the chances are of something being successful based on how the deck is comprised. There's also the asymmetry I mentioned, as in the case of many coin games. And while this isn't a coin game, it's certainly coin adjacent. Here, the two sides are playing entirely different games. You have the occupation force, the Germans, who want to maintain their hold on occupied France. They're going to spend their AP, their action points, to ship resources back from France to Germany and hunt down resistance cells. They're also going to try keeping their what's called their authority level, which is a measure of how well they're maintaining their control, as high as possible, while again draining France of the resources. If they're able to do that, they win. You've got on the other side, you've got the resistance, which is the underdog, which is the French resistance, trying to stay hidden, trying to recruit members, trying to execute hit and run sabotage and drag down the aforementioned authority level of the occupying regime until it collapses. So let's talk about what I liked about the game in general, specifically the 2-player version. People talk about lunchtime games. Well, if you want to play a quick coin game on your lunch break, I think this is the one. While In the Shadows, again, isn't technically part of GMT's coin series, it is, again, heavily coin-coded. It distills the thematic push and pull of the occupying German forces versus the hidden rebel forces. This is an insurgents aspect that you see in a lot of coin games, but it does it in a game that you can very easily finish in 45 minutes, which was pretty fantastic. I also love the tense hand management that you have in this game. The way the game works round to round is that you're going to select one of 2 cards. So your hand is just 2 cards. You're going to select one of the 2, and the order of the events trigger can be incredibly tense and incredibly important. There's an initiative aspect of the game that becomes a huge consideration. Some events, for example, that are triggered through the card play last until the end of a round. So if you win initiative, you can determine who goes first. That's what winning initiative gives you, the opportunity to select who goes first and who goes second. And winning that can change an event from being something that is like a minor issue that you can get over and you really cut your opponent's event off at the knees versus an event that can really, really ruin your entire round. So there's a really strong tension in terms of which of the two cards you're going to play. Are you going to play it with an eye to getting an important event, or are you going to try to win initiative to determine the order of operation again, which can be quite big. Finally, another thing I really appreciated is the really easy to understand rulebook. Historically, GMT have been notorious for rulebooks that read like legal documents. There's a lot of like section 0.1-3 stuff like that, or military sort of manuals. In the Shadow breaks that stereotype completely. The rulebook is streamlined. It's very approachable, very digestible. Really, really easy game to get to the table quickly, which is not something you often see with war games in general, and even more specifically with coin games. So I really enjoyed a lot about this. Let's talk about the stuff that I didn't love quite as much. A very slight negative I want to mention is that something I have trouble with when it comes to these multiplayer CDGs in general, which is that knowing what are on the cards before you play or through experience can make for a really huge difference in how well someone plays the game. For example, in a game like Twilight Struggle, which is a game that is another card-driven game, a card-driven war game, knowing the existence of specific cards in the game can really affect how you play it. And that only comes with either like having read most of the cards before you play it or by repeated plays. And again, a lot of games nowadays aren't played repeated times. So that can be a drawback with a lot of card-driven war games. I think that's mitigated here because there aren't really, in my first couple passes, there haven't been like cards that I really wish I had known about before the game. There are a couple of things like that, but I think it's not as stark as a game like Twilight Struggle, where knowing the cards really matters a lot. Another thing that I think will be a negative to some people is that this game is very, very tense. I mean, two-player games in general, the whole like zero-sum push-pull aspect to them make them tense, I think, as a general rule. But this game, you've got a map that is really, really tight. You've got actions that can be dictated by the suit of the card you're playing, like as I mentioned earlier. So things can feel very, very tense in this game. So if you're sort of like tense averse, it's this kind. I mean, I love that kind of tension in games, but I can see people who are like don't want that level of like high tension. They may not like this game so much. So those are things I think can maybe turn people off. In addition to obviously the theme, if you don't like war games, if you don't like historic games, this may not be for you. And especially like the World War II thing, it can be a hurdle for some people. But again, I'm really into historic games, so I was really enjoying it. The games have a lot of flavor text that I really enjoy. You know, again, this is maybe just something that maybe is not super common, but I just loved reading all the historical stuff and later diving into the events of the time. Quick note about the solo, which I also played. The solo, I think, is, again, really, really done well. The instructions on how to run the solo are really well done. A lot of coin games, while I think they do solo really well, they can be very flowcharty. With this game, it's quite streamlined. Again, this is a game that, even with the very minuscule flowchart in the Shadows, this is not going to be a game that's going to balloon and be like a 2-hour thing. This is going to be 60 minutes tops, would be my assumption. Very quick play, 45 minutes, 60 minutes. So a lot. If you're a war game fan or curious about war games, again, this is not a very heavy one, so it's more approachable in that way. Again, the rulebook is also very approachable. I think this is a really nice entry-level-esque coin game. If you're looking for anything coin adjacent or war game adjacent, this is a nice approachable offering in that sort of genre. So that is In the Shadows. Again, this is a review copy provided by GMT, designed by Daniel Bullock and Joe Schmidt. I would recommend it for sure.
Two quick questions, Mark. Did you find the solo mode compelling? Because I think the idea of solo war game is, I think, something that we've spoken about at various points. Is something that has an appeal, certain to me. And yeah, I mean, obviously it's not going to compare to like an actual 2-player game, but did you find it like a compelling opponent?
So yes. So there's asymmetry even in there's some asymmetry and some not asymmetry. So when you play solo, you're always playing as the French resistance, which actually I find very palatable. I wouldn't want to play as the German occupiers. That would be a rough go. But there is asymmetry because you can select like the leader of your side, and that gives you powers and stuff like that. So that I find interesting. So I find it compelling, but again, in the 45-minute quick play thing. In general, when I'm playing like a solo war game, I like a really deep experience. I don't mind a heavy game in that respect because it's just me, so I don't have to worry about like teaching other people or anything like that. I can like take my time and do whatever. So that's what I'm sort of looking for in a solo game. But for a streamlined, really easy to pick up, short solo war game, this is very compelling.
Yeah.
It's not like exactly my flavor of what I ideally want, but it is ideal for this specific like niche in solo, I think, war games.
Okay, second question. Is it a better war game than Toy Battle?
Is it a picture? That is a tough call. What was second place? Oh yeah. No, yeah. The question, I guess, is it better than Battle for Hoth, right? That's the ultimate. Yeah. For me, it's a better war game than Toy Battle. I know that'll be controversial, but I gotta call it as I see it.
You don't know anything about war games.
Neelan, Duel for Cardia.
Yeah, so Duel for Cardia is also a 2-player only game. This is a simple card game. This is, I can pretty much explain almost the entirety of the rules in a minute. Time me. Each player has a deck of 16 cards. Those decks are identical. The cards are numbered 1 through 16. Every card has a power on it. You're going to draw a hand of 5 cards, play one card simultaneously, as in 3, 2, 1 face down, both players reveal. The higher number wins the round and gets a signet, and then the lower number activates their ability. That ability is either going to influence the previous matchup, so you end up like a lineup of matchups, and if you get to 5 signets, which is 5 victories, effectively 5 round victories, you win the game. So there's this ongoing tense kind of decision of, do I want to play my high number because I feel like I need to win this round desperately? Kellen has 4 signets in the bag and I desperately need to claw something back. Or do you play a low number knowing that you're likely going to trigger your ability in some way that's either going to modify previously played cards? Because, for example, let's say Kellen played an 8 on a previous round against my 7. I might have a card that says add a +3 modifier to a previous played card. Now my card becomes a 10 and suddenly it's winning that matchup. So there's this ability to sort of modify the results of previous matchups based on the cards you play. Some of this sort of might have the effect of like ongoing modifiers. For example, one of the cards in one of the decks has if you play this card from now on, you win all ties, right? So now I put a little ongoing marker on that card, and for the rest of the game, I'm going to win ties. So in a future round, Kellen and I play the same card, I'm winning that round. But then later, Kellen plays an ability that says remove a modifier from a single card. Now that ongoing ties ability is no longer in effect, and we reevaluate all the previous matchups, and then Kellen might be winning some signets until eventually someone has 5 and the game is over. Very, very, very simple. There are 2 of these decks in the box, so effectively, you can kind of call this 2 basically games or 2 halves of the same games, 2 different matchups. Although you are intended to play, deck 1 versus deck 1 or deck 2 versus deck 2. You're not supposed to mix and match them necessarily, but you kind of have like 2 completely different sets of cards that you can play with, each with their own abilities. The trade-off, obviously, as you can imagine, like the abilities get more ridiculous as the numbers get higher because those abilities are less likely to trigger. So for example, in one of the decks, the number 16 card just has an instant ability that says you win the game, right? So if you can ever engineer a scenario which, not to give too much away, there are fun ways you can sort of combo things to work in this fashion, where you trigger your 16 ability despite it not being the one that would trigger in that scenario. And I think this is what Kellen did in one of the games I played with him, where he triggered an instant win, and that's fun. There are these ways where these cards just combo off of the previous one, or the next card you play will trigger its ability instead of this one, and things like that.
Have you ever played a game, Mark, where you're just like, I'm a king? You know what I mean? And not a solo game. I don't know if your win rate would support that on Biblios. Maybe it would. It does.
I have it documented. Yeah.
Okay. I stomped Neelan.
Yeah, it was a pretty embarrassing. The game I'm thinking of was a pretty embarrassing one. But it is also very very breezy. Like this is the sort of game where typically you're gonna your game will be done in like 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes tops, and you're gonna want to run it back immediately.
I'm realizing now that I've played this on BGA.
Yeah,
and really enjoyed it.
The BGA implementation is good. It definitely loses a little bit of something in asynchrony, where it's like you're not getting the raw 5-minute game time of this, but it's a small box. It just comes in one of those sort of standard small box things. 2 decks in the box. I think the card art is garish in a fun way. It has kind of a graphic comic book style to it with bold colors. I like the look of it a lot.
I'm convinced that this exact mechanism we have played in another game.
That was my reaction to playing Duel for Cardia, because it did have that feeling of, it seems so familiar. And it's very possible that we are just literally thinking of the same game and can't remember what it is. But I think it's more likely that it's just how has no one done this simply before,
Is this how Brave Rats works?
Gosh, that would be something I haven't played, so I couldn't tell.
No, I think you have played Brave Rats because it's like there's like 5 different versions of Brave Rats. Both players have a hand.
This is potentially how Brave Rats works. It says
could
the
not
cards
be.
have special powers, but maybe not necessarily on the smallest number. I'm not sure.
There's just like there's a lot of games. Yeah. I was thinking it might be the same as Terrible Monsters as well, which is another like it's not. I really wanted the like anecdote of this is just like that, and I'm like,
right?
what
You
game?
couldn't quite find it. Yeah.
I can't find it, but in my brain, I'm like, man, I had a good time with this though.
Look, it's a game where the cards you can play are dependent on the cards you draw, so there's obviously a big dose of luck in there to some degree, but lovely and slight and easy to teach, and I don't think even most gamery gamers wouldn't get something out of this. There's some fun stuff to be found in the mechanics of it.
Okay, now I'm on BGG, so we could just edit this so I sound smart.
Okay, yeah.
It is, the loser effects trigger is similar to R or Brave Rats. I think R is the one, Nealon, we would have played together, but I think it's the same thing. It's also the same thing in Raptor, which we've definitely played. Well, I have definitely played where one person is the dinosaur and the other person's the like hunter trying to murder the dinosaur.
I wanted to play Raptor. Now that's
fun.
Got me more intrigued because that's if that's the same mechanic in that's cool. But that has a board, right? Or am I misremembering?
Yeah, that has.
Yeah. Okay.
And then people are also comparing it to Time Division, which we also just covered.
I saw that, but Time Division is a lot more complicated. Was my memory of it? And I didn't like it very much.
Yeah. Yeah, because isn't it like one of the cards is the effect, and then one of the cards is used to its number or something?
It's something
so
like that.
This is actually a surprisingly fun game. I enjoyed it quite a bit, but there is like a shelf life on like micro game and how many of these you need, and like it's practically perfect. We busted this out and just when we had like 10 minutes and we got through the game and then ran it back. So it was fun.
Yeah, it's a good time. And to your point, like there have been a lot of these, I would say even recently, stuff with like Tag Team I know has been a big hit. But this is the one of those games I feel of the recent hits that I've liked the most, for whatever that's worth. That is Duel for Cardia.
All right, so let's get into the main event, a communal draft of the top 10 games of 2016. So I'm going to go over how this works. There's some trepidation among us that this is going to be complicated, but I trust the gamers out there to really hone in on the rule.
I thought it was easy, so I don't know what Kelvin's talking about.
Okay, what? Excuse me? Our listeners are the best among us. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Like, think
100%.
of the average person, and then half the world is dumber than that. But not our listeners.
True. Yes, our listeners.
See what I'm saying?
Top
25%
tier, easy, probably top 10%. Probably top
tier talent.
Exactly.
TTT.
Okay. So, for those who listened to our top 50 games of all time this year, this is going to sound very familiar, but the way this is going to work is we are going to be coming up with a combined list that represents the BGB take on the top games of 2016. Okay? Top 10 games. We are going to draft this from 10 to 1, with each of us having a certain number of slots that we are responsible for proposing a game. So, there's going to be 3 people so there's going to be 3 groups of picks. The person who has picks, sorry.
Not so easy, is it, Mark?
No. I'm going to, in the edit, this is going to sound so smooth, it's going to be ridiculous. Okay. So, picker A is going to have picks 7, 4, and number 1. So, they're going to have just 3 picks, but they do have the number 1 pick overall, which is a powerful position. Picker B is going to get pick 9, pick 5, and pick 2. So they're also going to have just 3 picks, and they're not going to have the number 1 pick overall. So in compensation, they're going to get an extra veto. So I'll explain vetoes in a second. But again, picker B is going to have 3 picks, culminating in pick number 2. And finally, picker C is going to get picks 10, 8, 6, and 3. So their advantage is they get 4 picks. So again, picker A, their advantage is they get the number 1 pick. Picker B, their advantage is they get another veto. And picker C, they get 4 picks. That's their advantage. So let's talk about vetoes. So each player is going to have 2 vetoes to start, except picker B is going to have 3 vetoes as a bonus. What a person can do on their veto is if a game has been proposed for the list, they can veto it, and then that game is going to be removed from the list, either to be moved up higher if the person wants, or if we as a communal group want it to be higher, if we think it shouldn't go that low, or to get kicked off the list entirely. So there's a risk there when a veto is played. We're also going to each get one override. What that means is if a game has been vetoed, you can use your override to save it and put it back on the list at that spot. You can only override someone else's game. You can't override a game that you've proposed that's been vetoed. So if Nealon puts a game up for the list, Kellen vetoes it, I can say, Kellen, I'm going to quash your veto by using my override, and the game goes there. It's going to make a lot of sense as we play. I think it makes a lot of sense already. But the way we're going to select who gets sets A, B, or C is we're going to do a little randomizer here. So I'm going to randomly have the internet give me a pick here. So 1 second.
In my mind, I'm still thinking, ooh, Shady Lady.
Okay, I'm on wheelofnames.com. I've added our 3 names to the wheel. I'm clicking it to spin it, and it's not spinning. Okay, here we go. Okay, Nealon, you get first pick. Do you want to be picker A with the number 1 pick overall? You want to be picker B with the extra veto? Or do you want to be picker C with 4 picks?
Interesting. I will be picker C.
He wants the picks. He wants the numbers. Okay.
I know what's right for this list.
And let me just spin the wheel again.
What is it? Who gets compensation for not getting picked twice by the spinner.com that we can't even see? We don't even trust that it's real.
No, we're just assuming is what Mark.
Okay, it is us. Kellen. Kellen, do you want to be picker A with the power of the number 1 overall pick, or you want to be picker B who gets an extra veto?
I find myself realizing that I'm the guy, because at work, there's always the person who's like, I don't agree with this plan, but I don't have a better plan. And, they're just like that obstructionist. You know what I mean? Like they don't, they just want to be on the record as, and I find myself, am I that guy? Because I want the vetoes. I just want more vetoes. I don't care what you guys are picking. I just want to be able to say no.
Yeah. Okay, so Kellen is picker B, it sounds like. Kellen gets a 3rd veto. All right.
Am I that guy?
I think you are.
It sounds like you've just tucked yourself into being that guy. I think this has been a path of self-discovery. Okay, so Kellen is picker B with 3 picks, but an extra veto, and I'm picker A with power of number 1, but only the 2 vetoes. Okay, so we are off. Nealon, you're on the clock to propose the 10th best game of 2016.
Okay, I need a little bit of thinking time here, because even though I have my short list, I have to be realistic about what's going to get on here. That's not going to get on. That's not going to get on. Okay, I am going to propose. I have an idea of what I think is a good number 10-ish type game that I think will be a nice little ease in that we can all agree on. And I think that the 10th best game of 2016 is, might surprise you all, Krazy Wordz.
Oh, nice. God, that's a blast from the past.
That is a good game. I still own this. Do you all still own it?
Same. I do. Yeah, I definitely still own it.
Krazy Wordz is probably actually one we haven't spoken about in a while, but everyone gets a little array of letters. You get a topic. Well, everyone has sort of like an individual topic that you're trying to make a word out using your letters, but usually those letters and those words are weird words. And then you shuffle up the cards and you're trying to figure out whose word matches each of these specific categories. So it's a little bit of like a Pictomania kind of going around, figuring out what everyone's doing it simultaneously, trying to do it quickly, that sort of thing. And then you look around the table, you realize you got someone's wrong, and you reveal, and it's very, very funny.
People have wondered where the term yuckvuck, which we haven't used in a while on this show, but we used to use it. We used to throw it out liberally, which was a word that was birthed from a game of Krazy Wordz. I believe it was like make up a
insult?
curse word or something like that. Make up an insult. Yes, that's right. And I think it was Kellen who made up yuckvuck. I think he's the one who put it into our
creative
lexicon.
That's what they say about me. Not business suit. Krazy Wordz, underrated, I would say. And it's a 7.2 on
for
BGG.
sure.
It's definitely like under discussed.
I will say this. I had to go quite far down the list on BGG to find this. And so I'm actually glad I did, because I think it is quite, I think it's quite a good pick for number 10, personally.
Okay, so the way we're going to handle vetoes is in the ABC order. We're going to say whether or not we want to veto. So I'll go first here. I'm considering vetoing this maybe to move it up the list. It feels like a better BGB game than just 10. But do I want to use my 2 vetoes right now? Kellen's got 3 vetoes. I think he may veto it. So I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna let this go. Kellen, are you gonna veto this?
No.
Okay.
Love
So
to hear
it's in there.
Number 10.
And is Crazy Words. Kellen, you're up for game number 9.
Oh, God. No, I thought we decided I was only talking.
You're only vetoing?
Yeah, I thought that's what we said. Okay, I am going to start... Well, no, I'm going to start playing the game, the shared collective game. Okay, so I think that it's hard because you kind of need your own top 10 to make this make sense. And I definitely have a top 10 from this year. I think there's a lot of good stuff. All right, I'm going to come in with a good game, an old game, but one that could be contentious that we were talking about. This is 2016's New Angeles. This is a weird co-op, semi-co-op game set in the Android Netrunner world, but no one cares about Android Netrunner. They care about New Angeles. It's a game where you're playing as corporations. It combines a lot of different types of semi-co-op and variable player powers, where it's like, score more points than your neighbor to win, which is a mechanic I love. It is a beautiful game. It is a long game. It is a way out of print game, and it is unlike anything else. So someone said, Kellen, I want to play New Angeles. I would say, you're a king and a scholar, the 9th best board game of the year 2016. And again, variety, as they say, VVV.
I like New Angeles. I it's funny because when we went down the list and I saw it there, I did have this moment of like, oh, remember New Angeles? And I was like, asking Mark if you remember playing it. I do remember liking it. Do I remember liking it enough to be in our top 10? I'm not convinced, but I also don't think I want to veto this early.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as well. I remember the issue with this game, as clever as it was and as interesting as
no issue.
The premise was, is that it's quite long.
It was very long.
Yeah. And so
only with your slow ass.
And yet it does feel like it's very BGB.
Yeah.
I will not be vetoing this either. So New Angeles, so far very
eclectic.
New Angeles is the number 9 game. All right, Neelan, you've got number 8.
Oh, that's weird.
That's your extra game pick.
I see. Okay. Number 8, I think I want this to be higher, so I won't go with that. I'm going to do a number 8, Tyrants of the Underdark. This is one of the early deck builder board game hybrids. I think it is excellent. It's one I still have and still hold on to because it does a really good job of being a area control game, again, mashed with a deck builder that I think is quite, not like the first board game you've ever played, but quite easy to teach. Like, this is one I've had a good amount of success teaching to people who are not avid board gamers, and it always goes off really, really well. I think to date, it is still one of my favorite deck building board game mashups.
I remember playing this and enjoying it, and yet I will be vetoing it. It just doesn't feel like a BGB game. I mean, it's fine. I want more from this list. I know that a lot of people really like this game. I know that it has a very strong, dedicated following, but it just doesn't cut it for me. So we're gonna have to boot this guy off.
I respect you for speaking your mind and using your veto.
I appreciate it. Are you gonna use your override, Kellen?
I will not. I like Tyrants. I don't love.
I like
Tyrants.
it too.
But I've always been like that game. Again, I don't dislike, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't like. I feel like Neelan got lost in the theme of this one.
I just genuinely think it's quite good. My biggest problem with some of this, I do think that there's going to be a lot of contention later with games that I just don't love as much as either of you, but that's totally fine. That's what this is. I think I'm going to propose for my number 8. Again, I think my any aspirations of getting this any higher are probably doomed, so I'm going to say the Oracle of Delphi.
This is Feld's racing game, but with a lot of like the Feld trappings, like the multicolors.
Yeah.
Not the point salad, but like a lot of different abilities. Each color sort of doing its own thing.
Everyone has a bunch of tasks. You have to finish them and get back home. It is dice mitigation. It's a good time. It's a good time. Yeah. It is my favorite Feld game. I've said this a lot, but yeah, certainly my favorite Feld game.
Yeah, I'm much happier with this. I will not be vetoing Oracle Delphi.
I see it as a BGB game only because Neelan won't stop talking about it. It could be in the running for like most referenced overall game on the show, so I'll have to let it stand. Yes.
Okay. We have our number 8 game, Oracle of Delphi. So now it is me. So I'm trying to now figure out how markified I want this game to be, or should I go for something that's a little more part of the BGB group think. So I think what I'm going to go with here, is this too low for it? Yeah, maybe this will flush out a veto if this is too low. I think this is... No, but I don't feel it, though. It's not true. What I'm saying is not true. Okay, I'm going to go with a different game. I'm going to go with what I think is one of the games that is seen as one of the best games of 2016 that I actually think works for us, or works for me at least. I'm going to go Great Western Trail here. Great Western Trail is by Alexander Pfister. I think it's my favorite of his designs. This is like the game where the board is a giant rondelle and you're moving your cowboy around and around, just stopping at different buildings, sometimes buildings you make, sometimes communal buildings, taking different actions, delivering cows to Kansas City. And there's an interesting thing where you're trying to deliver a unique hand of cards, a unique hand of cows. And yeah, it spawned a bunch of other games. I know we're not talking about those games, but I spawned a bunch of interesting sequels to the Great Western Trail family of games. But yet I think Great Western Trail, the original, stands on its own. I think it's a really solid game. So I'm going to go with Great Western Trail.
So this is one of those ones that I always think I'm not going to like that much. And then I play it and I'm like, this is just like rock solid.
Yeah.
Like you describing the theme there made me cringe a little bit about delivering whatever to Kansas City, but this is a good game. This is just classic good game. You can't argue against it. They have argued against it by making like 17 versions of it, but that's not 2016's fault.
That's true. And that doesn't sound like a veto to me, so it's left to you, Neil.
Yeah, I thought I was probably going to be the biggest dissenter here. Like, I like Great Western Trail, and I used to like it a lot more. I think I've grown to dislike it as time has gone on. I don't know what that's about exactly. But I actually thought, I was actually afraid that this was going to end up higher on the list. So I'm actually pretty happy to have it here.
Okay, yeah. I didn't want it to go much higher, but I think it should go on this list. So Great Western Trail slots in at number 7. And we're back to Neelan.
Oh my goodness!
You wanted all the picks.
I know.
You got first pick. And you
I realize now that the big problem with this is I've not left myself enough slots to actually propose all the games I want, but that's okay. I have to trust that this is going to get on the list, so I will leave that there. I think I'm just going to go for a Hail Mary. I actually think I probably should have done this the other way around in retrospect, but I'm going to propose Scythe.
Oof.
A game that Kellen was so excited to show me. When I think back to how excited, the joy in Kellen's eyes as he laid this out and taught me Scythe. Gosh, one of my happiest BGB memories.
I gave you that joy.
This is one of my earliest memories of Kellen. Talking about Scythe.
It's one of the earliest photos I have of Kellen is of him playing Scythe, actually.
Yeah, because I kickstarted this and you're like, holy cow, that's a huge box. And I'm like, no, guys, it's going to be fun. Don't worry. Listen.
So I have one veto, and I think I need to save it for something, so I will not be vetoing this.
I wonder how Scythe is perceived 10 years on, which is to say, like, I actually think we're ripe for a Scythe revised edition. And I don't know that it's going to revise in the way that Kellen wants it to be revised.
Yeah.
There's so much to love, man. The theme, the components, it's... and turn to turn, the gameplay, stole the card combat from Dune, stole it right out from under us from Dune. You guys know Dune, the dust.
Do you know Dune? Think of Dune, think of Scythe.
I can't veto this. I see this as like, I think people are going to be mad this is not number 1, but I do wonder like its lasting legacy. In some ways it feels very much like a product of the Kickstarter era of 2016, and I'm curious, maybe people play it weekly and I'm totally wrong. But what an interesting one. And again, when we're talking about Eurofied Euro games, it's at least not that. It's on the road to that. It maybe created the road. Actually, it may have built the road.
I think it's very much responsible for the not the resurgence, but the insurgence maybe of like Euro war games,
But yeah, fantastic game. I can't
All right.
I can't argue. There's
so far only one veto used. Now it's Kellen up for game number 5.
The thing is, I have vetoes. I have like earmarked vetoes.
Yeah, so do I. I'm earmarking my one veto. Yeah,
I have
veto is up for one game.
They're like that. I like made a little post-it note and I've written the game on it that if someone so much dares at, look at, I will veto. With the 5th slot on the list, I'm going to try to be nice to the audience because I would put this number 1. Yeah, I would go number 1, but as a generous man, I'm going to put Fuji Flush in the 5th slot.
I knew you were going
to
say
funny.
it.
I thought that there was a chance that we'd get away with you not noticing it was on the 2016 list, but
bro, this is a great BGB game.
No, it is. I know. Look, I just thought there was a chance it would slip by unmentioned.
There's no chance.
Oh, Nealon, you were rooting for this to not make it on the list?
I don't love it on the list.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I thought this might finish higher, honestly.
I guess I was also afraid of that. That is unfortunate.
Yeah.
That is the thing that's so awful about this game. Is it's like do I just accept this at 5 and like say, fine, you can have it at 5 because at least it's not
coming
high.
back. What's my next pick? 3? Do I have 2? What do I have next?
You have 2 next. 2 is your last.
Yeah, well, it's coming back at 2 if you don't accept it at 5. Fuji Flush is a party card game made by Mr. Friedman Friese. It goes 3 to 8 players. It's definitely best at the higher player count. I genuinely, like, party games are undervalued in the hobby because you not only need to have friends, but you need to have friends that want to party. We like to party. Okay? That is all I will say. I literally, like, I can't even, Mark. Nealon believes Tyrants of the Underdark deserves to be on this list, but Fuji Flush doesn't deserve to be on this list.
So I definitely will not be. I will not be vetoing. Nealon,
wait, you'll be vetoing?
I will not be vetoing.
I will not be vetoing.
Okay.
I'm more afraid of what comes next, I suppose.
What were you almost going to say?
No, I was going to say I did almost actually consider this for my number 10, like just to flush it, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Okay. So now it's me for number 4. And okay, I really think this is one of the best games of the year. I don't think either of you guys have played it, but I'm going to throw it out there. I'm going to go with, I talked about it on the show, so if you guys were listening when I was discussing this, you would know all about it. But Albin Viard's Tramways. Tramways is a super, super unique game about building infrastructure. I really, really enjoy it for the way that you take your actions. It's got a very interesting deck building thing where you're building like a deck with a sort of a corruption mechanic. I think it's the most novel, the most interesting game of 2016. And so I'm going to propose it here. Tramways number 4.
Nealon, are you as aghast as I am?
I am a little bit because the idea that this is a BGB game is like,
yeah, or that
if you guys have played
heard the word Tramways on this podcast.
I had to remind myself what game this even was, and then I looked at the picture. I was like, oh yeah, I kind of remember Mark talking about this.
No.
Maybe.
Well, see,
I've never seen this cover in my life.
Okay. Well, so
do I have to wait for Kellen, or can I just say veto now?
Up to you. I mean, I guess Kellen goes first. Kellen has the first crack at vetoing it because he's.
I will use one of my vetoes. I'll be a team player. People think
you guys don't know real games.
Okay, Tramways.
Tramways is an excellent game.
Ensure your citizens' happiness, delivering them swiftly across a rail network.
Okay, tell me what Fuji Flush is about again.
Fuji Flush is about partying with your friends and trying to get rid of your cards in your hand by shouting "choo choo" really loudly. While no one is drinking because it's a sober, fun card game.
Okay. All right. Let me see here.
Be reasonable, Mark.
The best game of 2016, Nealon?
It is.
You think you know a guy after 360 of these.
Okay.
And he has a Tramways hidden in his pants.
I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go with...
Oh, we all still have our override. Can we override an override? Because I will do that.
No.
If it's
and you can only, also don't forget you can only override someone else's
game. You can't override it. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go with a game that definitely should be on this list. And I think number 4 is the right spot for it. A Feast for Odin. This is
respect Nealon's list.
So I'm stoked. Like I was genuinely worried that this was not going to get on the list. So look, I will take it. I mean, I do have to refer to Kellen, I suppose, but...
Yes, Kellen will have first crack at it. Now, Agricola Revised Edition came out this year, but we're not going to include it because it's a revised edition. There's like a Agricola Family Edition that we're not going to consider. But look, I respect Feast for Odin. I think it's a very, very good game. Obviously, one of us likes it quite a bit more than the others, but I enjoy it, and I think it should be on the list, but I would prefer if it sits right around here. So I'm going to propose Feast for Odin, or I guess I would say Uwe's not his best game, but his magnum opus for sure. I'm going to say number 4. Kellen, you have first crack at veto.
Look, I am not going to veto this because I believe that it is deeply meaningful to Nealon. But to think that this is his magnum opus is atrocious.
No,
It's
not his best game.
It's his vomited out all. There's components for everyone. There's mechanics for everyone.
It's his grand.
He has no.
I
it's
think
not
he
his
would
grand.
self-describe it
Agricola.
that way. I genuinely think he would
Agricola.
describe
Agricola.
as his magnum opus. Like I think that is
Agricola's his
good
best
description.
game. But his like big, huge, epic game is Feast for Odin. His best game is Agricola. That is unquestionable to me. But his like grandest game.
It's interesting because I'm now debating whether we have agreed collectively on what magnum opus means. A magnum opus is a masterpiece or the greatest work of a writer, artist, or composer.
Okay,
So I actually like
Totally.
I'm not.
Yeah,
No, totally. But like, I do think, I mean, at least from my interpretation, to some degree, it's like self-selected. Like, I kind of feel like you'd have to ask the author what they think their magnum opus is. And I think Uwe would say A Feast for Odin would be my.
Have you talked to him?
No, I haven't. But that would be my. Guess.
Based on what?
Based on the fact, because I agree with Mark, there is so much that has gone into it in terms of just like scale and ambition. Like the amount of writing he put into the rulebook just for like flavor text and theme and stuff like that. Like there's so much of him baked into the core of like.
I think I just disagree because Agricola has actually had like a resurgence in the last 5 years.
Sure.
And has like over double the ratings of A Feast for Odin. So I don't,
I want to put on the record that I think that Agricola is the far superior game.
And that you don't know what a magnum opus is. Can you put that on the record?
Perhaps that too. Perhaps that too. I will say that this is maybe his grandest game. Maybe not his magnum opus, but his grandest game. All right. We are on to number 3. Nealon, this is your last selection.
I mean, I'm just going to retire. Like, I'm done. My work's done. No, I am going to, I guess in the interest of making sure that this goes onto the list, because I do fear Mark's opinion of this. Although, here's the thing.
Wait,
Ellen.
so how do we do this to get it on the list?
We'll have to figure this out. Well, I guess
because I have 2.
Yeah, you have 2. So
can't I pick it and then he vetoes it and then you override?
Yeah, so let's save that. That's a good play. I love that.
I wanted at 1, but
you can't say any names.
We won't get it.
You can't say any names.
So then I have to propose a 3.
Yeah,
and I think that my 3 is going to be Insider.
Whoa, big win.
Okay.
This is not what I expected. I thought I was getting ready to hit the say veto before you finished the sentence.
I'm curious what you guys thought I would have picked instead, actually, because I don't know if I'm missing something.
Well, do you want to describe Insider real quick?
Yeah, Insider is an oink game.
This is the game that Wordz.
Yeah, so they looked at Ted Alspach's Wordz and were like, hey, we should get in on that. They were like,
yeah.
Okay. It's a 20 questions word game on element of social deduction where someone may be lying about whether they want you to guess the word or not. It is a geniusly simple game. I've spoken about Wordz, which is derived from Insider, is like one of my absolute favorite games. But Insider was there first, and it was amazing.
Kellen, are you going to veto this?
Oh, man. I had no idea that Nealon was going to be okay with this. I thought we were going to get some kind of exit the game, the abandoned cabin, but it means all the exit games kind of pick out of him. So I've been saving these vetoes, and now I'm going to have more vetoes than there are picks left. No, I'd be very happy with it. Listen, would I swap it for Happy Salmon? I might. I'm just going to be honest with you. I might swap it for Happy Salmon for the chaos, but I will not veto Insider. I fear that you might, but yeah, Insider, I'm happy. Let's roll.
No, I will not be vetoing Insider.
Love to see it. Yeah. What a great game.
I mean, number 1 is going to be a show, but I'm very happy with it right now.
What is it going to be? Okay. All right.
You're up.
Number 2. We are picking the best game here and then forcing it in against Mark's wishes. We hear the complaints. This is perhaps the best dudes on a map game, people on a meeple on a airplane. Inish. This is a Celtic game of card drafting and very simple gameplay where you are learning and relearning this deck of cards. There are only 16 of them. You're trying to track the draft the entire game. We recently just played another game of this. It's very tight. There are multiple win conditions. People are constantly in contention for those win conditions. It is a stunner. You know, when people say, oh, he has a good personality. No, this game is a stunner, and he has a good personality. You know, see what I'm saying? Both sides. And what a fantastic game. And Mark, you could veto it, but we've already gamed you out.
I'm going to veto it.
I guess you have to because you have no more use for those vetoes, really. So
yeah. Well, I was going to propose that you can carry over one veto to the next game.
That's funny.
Something like that. So let's assuming that though, I still have to veto it. Just out of
overridden.
Oh, got him.
Happen. I thought it was going to happen.
We got him.
Yeah.
We had no idea that was coming. We didn't.
That's what I saved my veto for, but I had to use it. I couldn't allow it. Yeah. Okay. Inish goes at number 2, and yet now you've left me at number 1. You have 4 vetoes.
Yeah, we have
between
4
you.
vetoes to get this
okay,
right,
look,
Mark.
Look, yes. Okay, so I'm gonna propose games. I'm not gonna just try to bleed you of vetoes, but look, this is why I've got the number 1 pick, so because I can put a little Mark spin on this. So
also, like, you know, just from like from a stakes perspective, right? Anything you propose, you have to be prepared for the fact that it could actually be on this list as number 1.
Yes, absolutely.
Don't be silly. Don't be a silly man.
I'm not going to be silly. The last thing I'm going to be is silly. Okay, so
take it seriously.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what we demand, that you do that.
That's right.
We demand to be taken seriously. Exactly.
Okay, so first game that I'm going to propose. I don't think this is going to be a one and done situation, but I'm going to propose it. I think this is a BGB game, but I think this is probably the most Mark of the 2016 games that could potentially fall here. So I'm going to go Zany Penguins first.
Jesus.
Zany Penguins.
Start, Mark.
Zany Penguins is a game along the lines of like Arboretum and these kind of like really, really tense games where you draw cards, you have to give some to your opponents, and you're trying to get majorities. Really, really tough. Really, I think my favorite hidden gem of 2016. So I'm going to do Zany Penguins for the number 1 spot. Kellen, you have first crack at
and
vetoing?
sorry, we have, how many vetoes do we each have? We each have
both
2?
have 2 left.
Okay.
And I cannot use the override on my own game, so that is not a thing anymore.
There are just 2 games that can't be chosen, and this isn't one of them.
Okay.
I just literally have no idea what I'm willing to let through here. Because he's going to...
I'm not trying to bleed you.
The best case scenario is we just get him with the game that like is before the game he would pick, you know?
Yeah, because there are a lot of ones... I'm seeing a lot of traps here. And Zany Penguin, I would rather have Zany Penguins than where he might take us. See what I'm saying?
So what are you going to do, Kellen?
Okay, and I think Neelan likes the other games more, so I'm going to pass to make Neelan get rid of Zany Penguin.
Oh, that's very funny. I have to. I think in the interest of, at the very least, to see where we go from here, I don't want this at number 1, and I want the game to continue, so I will veto this.
The game must continue. That's a really diplomatic move.
The game is
Neelan.
continuing, in fact.
I commend you for that.
Okay, I'm trying here. I'm going by my reading. Let me see.
It's okay, Neelan. Check your PMs. We gotta
please.
We cannot let.
I agree with that.
Okay, so
I agree
I'm
with
very
that.
interested. It's curious.
Although
but it's like, what else? What are the problems?
I think I know.
Unfortunately, that's the question I'm asking myself. If not that, then what? I suppose.
Look, I think I know what games you're talking about, and I will tell you.
You have
you
no
don't
idea
about
what
that.
we're talking about.
I think there are 2 games that I think you were concerned about, and I don't think I would.
You're man enough not to do that to us.
That's right. Well, no, this is a team effort. This has always been.
That was always that was the point of this.
Okay, I'm going to go with another game I think is really good, and I actually would not mind this being number 1 because I think this is a fantastic game. Maybe my favorite bag builder of all time. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm going to go with Automobiles. I think Automobiles is a fantastic racing game. Bag builder where you are drawing different colored cubes out of a bag, and they are going to be allowing you to use different powers. The game is very, very replayable and has a lot of like interchanging parts because game to game you can have like different colored cubes mean different powers, and you can have a lot of variability. There is a wear system where if you push your card too hard, you get wear into your bag, like that are junking up your bag. I really think this is one of the best bag builders that has ever been made, and I think this is a legitimately good game. So I'm going to go Automobiles as my pick for the number 1 game of 2016. Kellen.
Are you kidding me right now?
Automobiles is a great game. Automobiles is a great game.
There are literally 9 games on this list. Can we move every game up and can we do a little Yankee swap?
Look, I didn't have a pick. You guys picked B and C. If you want
automobiles,
well,
what are
very
you
easy
talking about,
Look,
Mark?
if there's something you want to do about it. Do something about it.
The people demand. You need to make some sense, bro. Veto.
Okay, so
I veto you. I veto you. Automobiles?
The crazy thing is, like, I'm now so scared of what the other three are. I might have let that slide because I actually
automobiles.
I actually really like automobiles. I don't like it enough to be number one,
game.
But I think I'm gonna like it more than the next three picks.
When you have to keep saying it's a great game after you say the name of the game, no one knows what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. I'm genuinely trying to put a good game.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I don't believe you after that one, and neither does the audience.
Oh boy.
God, there are two games, Mark. That if you just said either of these, I'd be so happy to go along with you. And I even think Kelvin
would.
Let
me. I'm going to propose a game that I don't know if qualifies, and I'll leave it to you guys to judge. Okay. I'm going to say Vinos, which is the deluxe edition. It's a different. It's a different rule set, but does that qualify?
Yeah, it's funny. I did think about asking earlier. It is a different game from Vinos. Like, that is very much the case. Enough so that when I say I love Vinos Deluxe, which I genuinely do, I qualify it that way. Like, it's my understanding is it's quite different.
So that
Vinos.
sounds like it counts. So Vinos Deluxe.
Are you kidding me? A Vital Lacerda as the most BGB game?
Okay.
That's another one I
people.
actually would have gone. Actually, I'll be honest. That's the best pick so far from Mark.
Oh my god!
I'll be honest. Mark is saying that he's a man of the BGBers, and then he's picking Vital Lacerda. He's just
Vinos is a fantastic game. Okay,
I
so now Nealon is the only one who has a veto, so Kellen
veto.
can. Yeah, and so Kellen can.
Oh my god! I'm quitting the episode. I have earmarked.
Hold on. You've used them all.
Yeah, because you.
Yeah. I'm not going to do this.
I have one more veto left. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You're the only person with a veto,
Oh my
and you have
God.
one left.
This
I will say that
But
I
can
will not
override
do
the
this.
veto.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you override it, you keep it.
Yeah,
locks in.
so
Yeah,
you
yeah.
pick something like.
Oh
reasonable.
yes, that's right. Acceptable. Yeah. I will say that I was considering going with what I believe is the superior of the Camel Up games, Camel Up cards, but I'm not going to do that, even though I do believe it's better than Camel Up. But okay, what am I going to do that makes everybody happy? Okay, I've got one that's. Oh, you know what? This feels like a peace offering.
Oh,
Happy
but
Sam.
I know
No.
it, but do it. It's right.
Mino
Correct.
dice.
If it's what
It's
I
right.
think
Okay.
it is, it's correct.
Okay.
Mino
Okay,
dice.
I'm doing it then. Okay, no, not Mino dice. Okay,
What?
I think
Not Mino
Nealon and I
dice,
are on the wavelength.
2016?
I think Nealon and I are on the same wavelength. Not enough chatter. Nealon and I are on the same wavelength. I'm connecting with Nealon on a very subconscious level here. I think when he said do it, I think he knows what I'm talking about, right? You think you have a game in
think
mind that
so.
I'm thinking about? Okay, and you're the one with veto, so I got to speak to you specifically.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Now you're giving me
No.
different
I
energy.
believe
Okay.
in you, Mark.
I'm gonna
believe in you.
I'm gonna go sixes.
Mark, actually,
Nice
Oh.
pick.
not the craziest pick. I
Nice
actually did
pick.
not see that on the list, so that is a little bit of
Okay.
a surprise to me. That is not what I
That
thought.
feels like a very BGB game.
That does. This is very, very strong BGB memory bank associations. This is like the first Barrage Con, if I'm not mistaken, one of the highlight
Think
games.
about
Yeah.
worse alternatives.
Yes. I think I may be forced to let this stick.
But like, say some games that you wish would be here that are still.
Okay,
on the
so
list.
let's just really quickly talk about sixes for those who don't know. It's a game that's along the lines of like categories, right?
Mm-hmm.
Games like that where you are given a topic. You're playing this with like hopefully a number of people. You probably want like 5 or 6 or 7 playing this, and you're given a category. And whether or not you want unique answers or matching answers. And so, for example, it might be like, I'm looking at examples here, like bones match. So you're going to write 6 bones, trying to write words that are going to be matching in that case with other people. And then you might get like vacation destinations unique, and you want to write unique ones where you don't match. And when you match, you get points for matching, and in unique, you get points for being unique. And yes, so we're first of all, we're going to say sixes is our lock.
Yeah, look, I think that there is, maybe with good reason, we will get crucified over that being our number one game of 2016, but I think it is it's a good pick. I think it's a good pick for us. Certainly.
Okay, we got there. So now let me guess the games that you were worried about. You were worried about PAX Renaissance.
A little bit. It was not. It was not.
It certainly wouldn't have been my pick.
No, I would have been happy with that later list.
That's fair.
Yeah, I would not want it to be top. And then what was the other game? Oh, I don't know. I've lost it now. But what were you guys?
Mansions of Madness was the one Kellen had flagged, which I think I would have been a little bit more okay with than Kellen. But like, wouldn't have wanted at number one. I don't think.
Yeah.
The biggest one I was worried about was Flamme Rouge being anywhere near this top 10.
Oh,
because I believe
that was a danger.
So overrated. I was worried that Neelan was too into Shut Up and Sit Down to deny
I don't
Flamme Rouge.
Like Flamme Rouge. I think it's good, but I don't think it's great.
I like Flamme Rouge.
It's
then
fine.
And Sonar was another one that I
Captain Sonar was actually one that I was
list.
actually I actually genuinely thought that would have been the peace offering of like, hey, we all I thought we all liked Captain Sonar.
I hate Captain Sonar.
I don't like Captain
that's
Sonar.
funny.
I like how unique it is. I like
novel
working in a different space, but it's never a game that I'm enjoying playing.
Okay,
I never.
That's fair.
Did you guys have games that you were hoping I would pick number one? I'm just out of curiosity.
I just don't think.
I mean, Captain Sonar was the one that I was like, I hope he picks this because I would be happy to have it. But I just completely misread that. I thought that you guys both liked it.
If I had an extra veto, I probably would have vetoed Fuji Flush to move it up the list because I thought it was like more.
I'd be happier with it higher. Other games, Yokohama would have liked to have seen. Millennium Blades, again.
Millennium Blades was definitely
novelty of it.
Yeah.
District Noir is the other one that I have rated super highly that's not in there. But I think in 2016 it had a different name, right? It got renamed to... Yeah. This is Throne and Grail.
Oh, that's
like
right.
one of my favorites.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I love that game, and we were big proponents of it back in the day.
All right, so to conclude, these are the top 10 games of 2016, the definitive list. Number 10, Crazy Words. Number 9, New Angeles. Number 8, Oracle of Delphi. Number 7, Great Western Trail. Number 6, Scythe. Number 5, Fuji Flush. Number 4, A Feast for Odin. Number 3, Insider. Number 2, Inish. And number 1, Sixes. The world-renowned game Sixes is the 2016 best game of that year, as determined by our communal BGB list. So let us know what you think. I'm sure everybody agrees with Sixes being the number one game of 2016. I'm sure there'll be no argument about that. But maybe other games on the list. What would you have put? I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people confused as to why Terraforming Mars wasn't on our list, but historically not a game that we've loved. But let us know. Go to boardgamebarrage.com/Discord and let us know what you think. Go to the podcast channel where we discussed that week's episode. And let us know what games you would have liked to see, and let us know where we got things wrong, or where we used vetoes where we shouldn't, or we should have used vetoes where we didn't. You can find us on all forms of social media. You can email us at boardgamebarrage@gmail.com. Thank you, as always, to Heart Society for our intro and outro song, What's on Your Mind, Kid? And until next time, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.